And before we begin, please don't forget to join our WhatsApp community where we share a lot of new updates, where you will also know the upcoming webinars for everything. And yes, people even share their hacks, what they have been experimenting with AI and their opinions and experiments. So yeah, feel free to join the WhatsApp. So, starting with something interesting that's been happening this week. So first, so Canva has declared a full week off their employees to learn just about AI. So they'll be stopping their current work, anything, doing whatever they're doing, and just to experiment on AI. And that's insane for such a big company, right? It reminds me of what we do here at FlytBase, where we have 1 day a week. Every Friday we do that, but Canva is a huge company with thousands of people, and having them to stop their work and just to focus on AI, it's a bold move. And we know why they're doing it, right?
And
Yes.
is it a week off, or is it like everybody is still still working and they are still like kind of sharing with each other what they are doing with AI, or?
Yes, yes. So the whole week is full of experiments, and they're going to also have multiple workshops conducted by their own team members, and they'll be sharing and experimenting. It's basically like a week-long hackathon with workshops in between.
Nice.
And yeah, yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Okay. Moving on. I think one of the biggest news is View 3 has launched in India. I don't know how many of you have tried, but you have to try it. You can really experiment by just trying to make funny videos or anything that gets your interest in, but the quality has been amazing. I have myself have tried a few things and it looks very, very promising. So please go do try this. They have 1 month free trial, so everybody can just go try the everything. Yes. And then again, one of the biggest thing was Grok 4 has launched. So as far as I know, it's not available for public yet. But if you see the live video they posted for the release of this, you'll see how strong and powerful the model is. So it's gonna blow your minds off for sure.
So they're claiming now PhD level intelligence across all domains. So that is what they're claiming Grok 4 can do.
Yes. So in the video, you'll see how they interact with the Grok model and how responses it's giving, like very strong, analytically strong responses. So yeah, definitely go on X and check this video out. It is amazing. And one more is again like a direct competitor of AI mode of Google. I think it's Comet browser by Perplexity. So again, it's a full-fledged browser by Perplexity where I think you will have, if anybody has used Perplexity, you know the level of depth it goes through for research and finding resources. So just imagine all of that in your browser right then and there. So it's like a 100x powerful version of Google Chrome or anything that you have right now. Yes. And then one more thing, which I recently saw was a Sunset robot, a Chinese company has released a robot who plays chess. And the reason why this is amazing is you'll see the kind of thinking, analytic, and strategic power that robot has, how far they are evolving, and how smartly they can think and compete with human intelligence and maybe more than us. So if again, you should go check out the video. They recently showcased this in the World Summit. So please go check this out again. It's a very interesting thing. And again, for suggestion of the week, so the podcast that we have been suggesting, this one we recently watched here in our office itself. It's How to Spend Your 20s in the AI Era. I think the title enough should be interesting enough for most of us to go watch, and it's by Y Combinator. So please do watch the podcast, listen to it, and share how it was. And if you watched the last podcast that we suggested, if it was actually helpful for you, if you have any insights from that, please feel free to share all of that in our WhatsApp community. Yes. So without further ado, the main section that everybody is here for. So even me being a product designer, this session is super, super interesting and personal to me. So I'll be handing it over to Sivnesh, who's been a product designer at FlytBase for over a year. And this is his second year in action. So he's kind of used to this gig now. And yes, so handing it over to Sivnesh.
Yeah. So first of all, guys, I'm not Prathamesh Patil. I'm 7H TV. I'm a product designer at FlightBase for over a year, as Apta mentioned. So I'm going to talk about this session. So this session is going to open your minds on how we kind of use AI in FlightBase to smoothen how the pipeline is basically is for our design workflow. Like, so let's first, without further ado, let's see what this means. Design smarter, ship faster. So we don't just want to ship our designs faster, but we want to do that with the utmost quality. And let's first look into some of the problems that we initially wanted to solve and how this workflow kind of does the job for us. So as you could see, you guys can look at this Figma file and kind of vision what the problem is here. There is just so much onto the screen, right? Like, I'll just give you guys some preview of the Figma file. So look at this. This is us like 8 months, 10 months back. What we kind of did for a very small feature, even though it is very a complex feature, and we had to do n number of state coverages for it. And we need to explain it some way, and that is what we as designers do, right? Like, you guys know, you guys can resonate with me probably. Like, look at this. Panning, and it just never ends. Like, we made this many screens for a small component, which is just like this, which had a lot of state coverage. And I know a lot of you guys resonate with me on this, but this is such a tedious task because we just keep repeating screens for even a very small interaction, a filter, a this, an action that the user has to do. Anything and everything we need to kind of make it in Figma and hand it off to the developers. And as you guys already know, it doesn't just end there. The developers come back to us. They ask us, what is this? Why is this that way? Even though you clearly kind of gave it in the Figma. I mean, that always happens. And even us as designers, we sometimes miss some very critical flow that comes up in the later part, which we probably never documented in a very well-mannered way, that we kind of, again, have to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to sneak in that feature. So all these things kind of add on. And the final thing is like, how will we do the design system, how it is going to get getting into the final development. So we wanted to solve all these problems, and we kind of did with this workflow that we are going to show you. So as you could see, this is the toolkit that we are using. Basically, this is our entire AI stack that we are currently following for our entire design pipeline. As you could see, Claude is something that we very critically use in our daily design workflow. And Claude, and currently recently we have discovered that Grok has also been very efficient in the terms of user understanding the user, being more empathetical, trying to give very detailed notes on like what we kind of need for the users. So these two are what we kind of get into from ideation to till the kind of wireframes and ASCII layouts. So that is what we do. And once we do that, we kind of go back to the V0, Laravel, or any other, Bolt or any other platforms that generate prototypes for us. I will explain the workflow in the next this one even in a better manner, but just let's look into the toolkit first. Then the Figma plugin. This is a crazy one because we built this plugin ourselves. Sanjog did, and he will talk more about that on the workflow. And once we do that, we then connect Figma and then utilize some MCP like Figma MCP, a local system. That is how the developers are doing it right now, from design to development, how they bring it to life. Cursor, Cloud Code is something that the developers very on the regular, they use it to kind of finalize the design. That is the entire toolkit that I'm talking about, what we're using right now. Let's just now go into the workflow in a little bit more depth, where I could kind of show you how we kind of do it. So how we leverage Grok and Claude, right? So let's look into this. So this is basically Grok, and as you could see, we attach all the PRDs, all the any context about FlytBase, anything that we need for this project, or this specific feature that needs to go, and it is in a very detailed manner. So all this context is basically fed into Grok, and as you could see, the way that it gives output is very detailed, even though the manner that we build it is very this one. So as you could see, the persona development, how the user is going to kind of impact, like work with this problem statement, everything is very well documented and it is in detail. So even with verification, we have found out that this is very good for the brainstorming stage. So that's how we do it with Grok. And once we arrive at a very wide kind of thinking, we get into Claude. We kind of input all this stuff that we basically generated from uh, Grok as project knowledge. We give very detailed, very specific set of instructions to uh, Claude, and then from this we kind of build upon it. So Claude is very good in functional thinking, logic, and as the model went past, right? Like the Claude Sonnet 4 is very good in building the code that we need, and even the function that you want envisioned, right? You just say it, and it makes it in a very good artifact. So stuff like this we use Claude for. And as you could see, this is a very basic prompt, right? Like all the context that we fed from Grok and some base level PID that we got from our PMs, we put it into the project knowledge, and we just ask it to refer it, go through it, understand what it means, the key components that we need, and considering layout and all that stuff. And it first tries to understand that in depth, referring to the entire project knowledge. And we go into further more depths. We keep iterating, ask it more stuff about what we kind of need. And as we arrive at a very good conclusion, we enter this prompt kind of like very specific to Lovable. We also give it some guidelines on how well we need to prompt for Lovable to kind of execute in a perfect manner the final prototype.
CV, just 1 minute.
Yeah.
You also mentioned something about artifacts in Claude. Can you just go over that once?
Yeah, 1 second. So yeah, so as you guys see here, we had developed this small artifact, which goes as an element in one of our projects, which I'll be showing in very much detail in a while. So as you could see, this has so much complex things to deal with. It is basically a timeline element where in every incident that you get registered is going to be interactable, and it needs to kind of serve a purpose and some other components that it's going to connect with. So we build the entire this one. It has a complete logic. It needs to know, it has how every single interaction needs to function in this case, what other options that we provide here, and what happens when you click on a certain thing, how does it play, how it zooms, pan, and all these interactions are covered here. So since Claude is very good in making these code for us, we generate such artifacts here, and then we kind of go into the code mode and copy this entire code, and we can use it whenever we build it in Lovable. So for example, Lovable might be very good in UI in this case, but sometimes it might not be that good as how the raw Claude 4 Sonnet model gives us the code in. So sometimes we also add the prompts together with this. So as you could see, we kind of went to this way, right? So we generate prompts on a chunks basis. So everything that we want in the dashboard, you can't just directly give it as a single prompt and expect everything to magically happen. So we go very step by step, build it from the base, context setting, project overview. We ask it to build it in a specific way that the final output that we are going to get is going to be at least 40-50% production ready. We need it in that manner. So we go prompt 1, phase 1, phase 2, 2, 3, 4, as we keep going, and at the final output we feed it one by one to Lovable, and we iterate it on it. Now it is not just Lovable that we use, we also use V0 for initial ideations in these cases. So as you could see, these are very base level ideations without any design system or anything, just like kind of putting what our thoughts on from Claude here. So what happens when this you do this, what can we do in this case, like all the coverage we do, everything is done here, and we do so much iterations here, and it is all quick, right? It is like a 2-5 minute thing, and it already uses so much of your mental bandwidth. So once again, so as we do this, then we need to kind of go back to Figma because we realize that Figma to development is still the best way to kind of get the code, and we kind of do it in another flow. Now, my friend Sanjog, who's a fellow designer at FlytBase, will kind of go through the HTML to design workflow. Hello, Sanjog.
Yeah. Hi
Yeah.
guys. So I'll be basically showing you of what we do after Lovable. So the code quality of Lovable is still not that great that we can directly translate it into deployment or production ready code. So that is why what we need to do is we need to get those designs back from Lovable to Figma. And to do that, we can, like, we earlier were experimenting around how we can take a screenshot of the design and bring it to Figma and then convert it, but that is a very manual and tedious process, and we are all about like using AI to reduce those tedious processes. So I'll just be presenting my screen and showing you the flow we currently have. Yeah. So what we do is we bring the Lovable screen, whatever the Lovable screen is, we publish it and we bring it via this original plugin, which everyone of you might have used, which is HTML to design plugin. We use that and bring the base Lovable design into our file. So now the major manual tedious work is to be done, which is converting this entire thing into code which actually looks like our design system. So the design system has all the things like typography, what are the primary, secondary colors, everything is defined in our design system. But we need to do this. Earlier we used to do it manually, and that is a lot of work. So this plugin was built specifically for this task. Before I speak, I'll just let you see it. So I'll analyze it and then I'll just hit apply. And you can see the magic happening here, which is everything is converted into our design system. So if you click on something, you'll find this is a style which we use. This exact font style is a style. So everything is converted into styles. And you might also see the padding and the spacing, border radius, everything is in variables, which is also what we use, which is a good practice to have everything in variables so that it becomes easier for them to develop. And so basically this is to convert your designs from Lovable into Figma, which will help our developers to actually put it ahead. And the next step we are working. Yeah.
Sanjay, just 1 minute before moving forward. So like you mentioned, this will use our color styles and everything. So why not have the same process, like basically give context of a design system to Lovable or Bolt and get it done here? Were there any issues during that flow?
Yeah. So actually what happens is when you give something to Lovable, it will follow those colors like majorly, but exact styles, exact colors in down to your style names. So here we have it defined semantically, and Lovable might follow some things, but not entirely. And what we need while giving it to developers is we need those things in our specific design system names as well as variable names. So those things.
One of the problems is it even touches up the file that we kind of considered as a design system specific thing. So we might give our tailwind CSS. The problem that it does is it goes ahead and makes some changes, makes it global, uses some random other colors, and it doesn't always be very strict or try to follow what we kind of use for our design system. So that has been a really big bottleneck in all of these, this one. And the only way to kind of solve that was to introduce the plugin that Sanjog just made. So this is how we kind of work around it.
Yeah, and obviously when you're doing in Lovable, there are some shortcomings, as in if you have to make a change to a specific component and you try to do it in Lovable, after some point it starts messing up other things, which is a thing you don't want. You'll just restore back. So to do those kind of manual edits, you as it is need to bring it to Figma. So I just have a simple example here where this is the design we bring from Lovable. This is what we use the plugin upon. And if you want to make changes like the layout change or something, then we can make those naturally in Figma and then produce the end thing. And the next thing which we are working upon is using the Figma MCP. So you guys might have already known about like the MCP, which was launched by Figma themselves. So which you can turn on in your Figma and then connect it with your IDE of choice. So right now I'm showing it in cursor. It's very simple. You just show your like connect your Figma, and then you can try converting your components into like your designs into code. So right now developers do it using Claude code, but the future aim would be designers giving the front end code directly to the developers.
Yeah, so that's the basic workflow that we follow. And currently, even though designers can actually build this thing, we are using more of a bandwidth from the design side, and our developers are basically taking it up from the Figma MCP side. So they are using Cursor, Cloud Code extensively to get the final desired product. So now, as you could see, I will just give, so what you guys basically saw is the incident management dashboard, and which I'll be extensively showing and explaining what kind of went on in all these cases. So you guys saw the flow, right? Like from Grok, I went to Claude, and then I went to Lovell and how I'm generating this. Now I'll show you the final kind of thing. Now this is the level of complexity that we are kind of dealing with at FlytBase. This is an incident management dashboard, which is basically like all the security analysis that will happen is going to be happening here. So any kind of flight footage, the drone footage, or any camp CCTV footage, or whatever it is, when you are analyzing or creating a report, this is the dashboard that they're going to be coming up and making those things. In the future, AI is also going to be involved here, so we need to kind of very critically make this dashboard. So as you could already see, there is like so much complexity in this dashboard. For selection, let's say I selected a vehicle that was detected. Now I want to see the clip that is going to like show me what it exactly is. Then I go up, I click on it. There is another tab that is going to open with the video playback. I play it up. It is going to relay that video. I can move around it. I can say I wanna mark this as an incident. I mark it, and there is a state for it. I can flag this. There is so many smaller nuanced states in every single interaction that I'm going to touch upon. So just look at the complexity that it has, right? Like even the responsiveness, like how everything needs to scale, how everything can be customized for the user. So suppose if I do not want to see the events list, I just click on this and it goes away. If I do not want to see the event details, I just want to see the video and map, I can do that as well. So in little smaller cases, every single interaction that I want to touch upon is going to happen here. And this is the amount of case coverage that we at FlytBase always handle. And the solution to this is not going to be just from Figma, right? Like as designers don't just want to kind of like design it in Figma. Now you can just visualize everything, whatever single thing that you have thought of, whether it be any single interaction that will kind of impact something, whether it be recentering to something in this widget, whether it be moving to a different incident, whatever the case it might be, everything needs to be sorted out. And you can literally do that with tools like this. And how do we arrive at this, right? Like, so as you guys saw, the Claude generated such detailed prompts. And as we keep iterating, as we keep adding these single, look at the amount of detail that each of these prompts have, right? So with this much context and this much description, there is not going to be much missed out. So as we feed all these things together with Claude, from Claude to Lovell, and then kind of build upon it, obviously that is going to give up some errors or some minor things that we might need to look back upon. Then we need to fix it again, right? Like these things are anyways going to be done. So now, as you guys saw, this is the thing that we are building. And from this, we publish this entire thing basically. And once we do that, we take it from Figma, and then we kind of go back and kind of make the least amount of screens possible. And the developers will still understand everything, because why? Because they already have everything in place set for them. Every single interaction covered, every single thing documented. And as I will really emphasize on the documentation to you guys, because that is the ultimate thing that we need to focus on. Because see, how will you translate the kind of whatever you have in your mind to a developer? How is it being done? It is not just Figma, right? Now in this case, it is not just lovable or it is not just V0. It is also going to be the pair of documents that we are going to pile up, which we got from Claude or Grok, which the developers can use as reference for their own this one. So when they are going to be developing, they have all this documentation ready for them. So they can refer it back, they can develop, they can refer it back, they can develop. There is no loop for you. Everything can be done by themselves with that single this one. They can feed it to another LLM, they can get whatever output they wanted in that manner, and they could build the code for that. It is that simple and that effective. So yes, document is one of the main keys. So you guys could, like think more on that specific thing as well. Yeah, so that is the entire process that we kind of go with. And yeah, so if you guys want to, like be in the entire process of it, you can be in that. So always just one thing, as you guys could see here, AI is not equal to one tool, it's a system, at least right now. Like everything, every different tool can have its own purpose. You kind of have to discover what it is good at and kind of add it in your workflow if it is necessary. So this same workflow that you guys just saw might not always work for everyone. It is working for us with this complex system. Like we deal with safety critical systems every single day in the drone environment, and as we are scaling, it is going to be even more further. We are going to site security, and it is going to be even more harder for us to kind of manage everything. So how we do that is kind of with this workflow, but this might also not work for you guys in some certain area. So you can swap a tool or a to kind of like find your own workflow, and that is how it is. So you guys can't just replace your entire system to this. You guys should kind of like focus on what is best for you and use that tool or whatever the case is for your uses. And now this is the thing. So the complete masterclass will be held by me, Prathamesh and Sanjog, and it will be around 1 to 2 hour masterclass, and we will give you kind of in-depth like analysis and like how we kind of pull this off and how to kind of do this in this manner. So we will dissect every single thing, how we prompt, how we kind of go from this workflow to this workflow. It'll basically consist of everything. So please, guys, if you guys want to take a look at it, it is basically very, very helpful. So please join that as well. So handing it over to Arpita right now. So
Yes, thank you, Simresh. Okay, that was pretty cool. So right how Simresh ended with the master class. So basically what we're planning is to go in depth with this workflow, right? Because I'm sure this 20-30 minutes was not enough for you guys to know actually what the prompts, what quality of prompts was given, what kind of project knowledge was given and everything. So the dates of this masterclass will be announced soon. But yes, like Simresh mentioned, is going to be a very dive deep to our process workflow and how it works. And of course, you can always cater it to your own use case. And just to summarize a little bit of what Simresh and Sanjog said, so I think for people who are seeing this for the first time or hearing about this workflow for the first time, you are either very excited or you are either feeling very chaotic, like, oh my God, so many tools I have to manage, or you're feeling both, which is completely normal. So the thing here right now is, yes, we are using multiple tools to finally finish a design from end to end, but the reason is because here every tool plays a very distinct and crucial role in what stage of design we are in, right? So like Simresh told, what is the difference between Claude and Grok and where we use what, similar for Lovable and V0 and etc. So right now we have a lot of tools and a little broken workflow, because right now that's the state of the art of AI, but the rate at which these tools are developing and evolving, soon we are probably going to have barely 1 or 2 tools, and everything will be done within those tools where everything is consolidated and you won't have to jump from one tool to another. But the current workflow is so that you can actually experiment with these tools, understand how this is working, and if you were to ask us about the before and after effect of this. So before, even the smallest of projects for us took like a week or more than that, because of the complexity of it, because even a small features in our dashboard are pretty complex when it comes to states and case coverage and everything. So say, for example, a feature took a week, and now that we can do it in, say, a day or like a few hours, depending on how good we have become at prompting, how good we are, compounding on our skills using these tools, right? So it's a massive change in our workflow. The speed has increased. And because of that, since we can prototype so easily, we can get the final outcome so much more in a better quality. And you can visualize things like within a matter of seconds, right? So for example, we used to have the old design process where we go from PRD to low fids to high fids and then all of that, right? So all of that now can be done within Claude itself. Claude itself is giving you a low fit as well as you're brainstorming on all the ideas on the user flows and everything. So
Arpita, the one that, sorry, not Prathamesh, but Shivnesh, the one that Shivnesh showed just now, that was a pretty complex one, right? And that would have taken probably several weeks without all these tools. And
definitely, yes.
Shivnesh, you're on mute if you're speaking.
Oh, sorry, that would have taken months, Nitin.
And even after months, we would have done so many like back and forth with the product managers and this and that, because there's just so many states and so like it's a really complex one. Like whatever we used to do earlier compared to that, this is like really complex one. And it would have taken months to do it, maybe the first shot, and then after that, so many more iterations and something might
Again and again, we have to go back in the loop.
You would have needed so many people to validate that we have not missed anything, like technical validation, etc. would have taken again so many iterations, right? So all that was probably shrunk in a matter of like days. So it was a drastic improvement in terms of how much we were able to accomplish and the quality of the work as well. So
yes, definitely, exactly those thoughts. And the one skill that you have to upskill while using all these AI tools is thorough reading and validating. So like you saw, the amount of detail Claude prompts and Grok prompts are, as much as they're detailed, you also have to review it once so that you know it's catering to what exactly you need. You can't just blindly give it off to Lovable and expect.
Exactly. The validation is where we come in as product designers, right? So that is where we completely add the value. Even though AI does all these things for us, it doesn't come to a very good conclusion at the end of the day. And that is where you kind of need to analyze what it has figured out and dissect everything into whether it is going to suit your user, whether it is going to suit the case that we are going to cover and everything. So that is where you guys add the value.
There are a lot of people, there are discussions like if you are using AI, you're becoming dumb. But trust us, that is not the case. You still need to apply a lot of your expertise, a lot of your knowledge and brains in order to get something working. Because no, you are not trying to do things that are far more complex than what we used to do earlier.
Yes, and at this point, AI is like a fetus or a baby where you have to train it or you have to hold its hand every second and be like, this is the right way or this is the right way, or this is what we are expecting. Because the amount of context we are given, everything, it's very easy for AI also to go off route. So that's where you come in, where your critical thinking comes in, and this is the way I want to drive the final output. And so, yes, definitely.
I think one important takeaway is that nothing is cast in stone. There are no set processes right now. It is very important to conduct experiments, to explore, to try out different things, and that is where you discover something that really works well for you. And if you remember, we had conducted another session on product design maybe like a couple of months ago, and that time what we were doing is little different from what we are doing now, because we are continuously experimenting and finding out better and better ways of building more complex things in production. And I think it will continue. So another like couple of months, we will be doing something maybe quite different from what we are doing today. And every time we are getting a significant gain in our productivity. So last time, whatever we showed, we were already getting like 3-4x gain, and now it's even better.
Yes, definitely. Okay, yeah. So just moving on to the Q&A section because we are going over time. And so, okay, just you guys can raise your hands and directly ask, or I'll just go through the chat and ask one by one. So starting with, so where can you get the link for the masterclass? So when the date is decided, all the details of the event will be posted on the WhatsApp group as well as on the LinkedIn page. So both the details I'll put in the chat right now. You can join our WhatsApp chat and our community on LinkedIn. And that is where we completely always keep updated. And also if you're subscribed to our Luma events, you'll also get that in the mail. So no worries about that. We'll make sure that you don't miss the date and event details. One more question is, have you tried UX Pilot? It allows to create screens without code and also applies design system from Figma. So CV, you want to answer or should I?
So yes, so design system, like I get that it did apply design system, but as you could see, UX Pilot kind of does not give any auto layout, and it just builds some random frames. And when you even though the visually it generates some good output, when you actually bring it to Figma, right, it is just random frames. It is like you can't, if you want to make it into a complete auto layout that the developers can actually use, it is going to take so much more time again. So we were also having a premium and have been using it and checking up to date on what these guys can kind of like create, because what the drive that they are on is on the right direction. So UX Pilot can be a contender for a really good tool in the future, but at the moment that there are some limitations like that, which kind of makes us not to adopt that as the final flow.
Yes, definitely yes. Any other questions, guys? You can raise your hands, just ask, or go for it in the chat section.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, is somebody speaking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think there is one question from Manisha. Any human interaction added? I am not sure what she means by that.
Yeah. Can you speak up if you can?
This is Manisha here. So when we are making videos and you know the part we saw is more about the objects. Can we add some human interaction the way we see the videos, or we see the human interaction videos, all those things? How do you prompt it and how do you add to it?
Human interactions, as in when you say like hover or states like that, hover state, press state, or stuff like that, which goes into the UI elements. Is that what
Yes.
you're talking about?
Yes.
So those things, so the LLMs already kind of recognize the patterns because it already has all this data about how the interactions kind of work. So all you kind of need to feed into it, it's some UX principles that it needs to kind of follow, or like, like these are the base level things, like whether it be the feedback that the user is going to get. So they need a feedback, right? When they hover on some certain elements. So the AI automatically kind of does it for you. But if you want a specific, this one, you just prompt it in a similar manner. You could just ask Claude about this, like what can be the best human interaction possible in this case, and it will give you something which you can finally put it into lovable and kind of make it into this one. So it is fairly really simple. Yes.
Got it. Thank you. Prathamesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prathamesh, I have one more question. So there were some plugins that you used in between. Were those plugins with Lovable that you used?
The plugin that we showed for Figma.
Oh, was it for Figma?
No, I guess Harmony.
So yes, the Harmony plugin is something that we created for Figma. So basically, it was created through Claude and something as well, because the code that it wrote was very good. Sanjog can probably answer that better, but basically, the plugin is for Figma. So basically, what we do is from the lovable this one website that we kind of publish, we take that link, we put that into HTML to code, and then we get the base level things in auto layout, and all the structuring is actually very good in HTML to a design converter plugin. And from that plugin, we move on to the next plugin that we actually created, the Harmony plugin, where we select the certain frame, and from there we kind of tell it to follow the design system that we kind of have, and it'll with respect to what it knows, it translate that to the design that we exactly want. It'll then follow the design system that we are looking for.
So basically, it's two plugins, and both of them are for Figma.
Yes.
Thanks.
Several people have requested for the plugin, so maybe we can share it on the WhatsApp group, the details of how to
Yes, sure.
get it.
Yes, definitely. So HTML to Figma is a public this plugin that is already available, but we'll share the link for it. And Harmony, yes, we'll make that public as well. That will be also there in the WhatsApp group soon.
I think Shanif has a question. If you can go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nitin sir and team for the session. My question is not related to the section which is going on. I was trying to, I was looking into the some certain videos previously on related to backend, and I tried to do something in trace.ae, but I was not fully satisfied what from the output what I got. Is there any way that you guys can have a workshop, because you guys are planning for the workshop for the masterclass? Can you plan something for the backend as well?
Sure. So what will help, Shanif, is if you can maybe post the topics that you would like us to cover, you can maybe post it on the WhatsApp group, and then we can take it up with the development team on how we can cover those topics. And if that is a common thing for many people, then we can definitely plan a session around it.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, Atharva has a question. Is there any AI for advanced prototyping with logics and conditions? So as you guys saw right now, Lovable, V0, even Bolt, the reason why they are also really good in logics and conditions is because they are using some really good models. So right now they are all using Claude 4 or certain closure models, and that is why they are really good in this case. You would find a lot of such advanced prototyping tools such as Aura Chat, Bolt, and then Lovable and V0. We are finding Lovable really good in fishing out UI, and Bolt is really good in both kind of logic and really good UI because right now it is using Claude 4. So you guys should kind of try to experiment more, try to learn more news about what tools are coming out, and you guys could try to like experiment on the regular free plan basically, and then see for yourself. So like just keep getting updated on that, because a random tool might come up and just steal the spotlight. So,
yeah, and also I think the secret is not just directly giving vague prompts to Lovable. The main thing why we get such good outputs in Lovable or any other tool is because of the detailed ideation and iteration and prompts we are doing in Claude, right? So for Claude, we have the whole context of the user flows, what the whole dashboard is supposed to do, what every component, every interaction is already mapped up in Claude. That's why we are able to just take that prompt and put it into Lovable, and that's when you'll get the best outcome for Lovable.
yeah, so there is even
type it in Lovable.
Yeah, so there is even some guidelines specifically given by Lovable, Bolt, and certain this one on how to kind of prompt so that their model can kind of give the best output. So you guys can use that as another project knowledge into Claude and tell Claude to refer to that whenever it is trying to create prompt. In that way, your prompts will be even more detailed and valued when you come back to Lovable or any other tool like this.
Yes, we'll definitely cover all of this in the masterclass, all the details for the prompt engineering.
Like what we can do in the master classes, we can take up a sample project and we can walk them through the entire process of how we are doing it.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, I think there is one more question. Like, can you use Cursor to take a product idea all the way to an MVP, including planning, coding, and iteration? Yes. Yes, you certainly can. So what you do in Cursor is basically you will have some agents, right? In this one. So the model that you use, whatever is good. For example, Claude 4 is really good in fishing out a very set of planning, coding, and iteration and everything. So you guys use that from the start, ideate and brainstorm with it. You can create some documentation which you can have in your code directory itself. And whenever you are building, right, you can ask it to refer the document and keep building on it. So yes, you can certainly build an MVP within Cursor itself. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think any other questions, guys? Okay, can you clarify how you guys break down a problem statement? I'm interested in understanding how you move from ambiguity to clarity. So basically, I think Sivnesh also mentioned that the first input that we have is the PRDs that we get from the PM team. And because of AI, and since they are also using Claude and GPT, now the PRDs are also much more detailed and complex. So that itself is a very, very good starting point for us. So that exact PRD, we feed it into Grok or Claude. And that's where we start iterating with it. Basically, we start by, say, a basic prompt like, okay, this is the feature. Can we start with basic user flows? Or can we basically start with the user persona for this and all that? So basically, the one good skill you have to do is read everything in detail and start questioning it as much as critically as you can. And that's how you just keep iterating until you have enough clarity of all the user flows and everything. And because of artifacts in Cloud, you can also visualize it on the side. So that's how we go from like the ambiguity of a feature to a broken down, very structured feature detail.
Yeah, so obviously, whenever you guys brainstorm with AI, right? Like, even though you fed that PRD, it will obviously try, even though you say, tell it to think just from the PRD standpoint, it will try to give you some, like, this might not work, this might work in this way. And all these things, you can't just be blindly accepting whatever it is saying. So that is where your thinking, critical thinking comes up, where you kind of challenge what it is putting up, because it might not actually suit the product or the feature that you're trying to serve. So that is where you just have to keep iterating. You just have to converse with it in a way that it kind of understands in which direction it needs to proceed, so that it doesn't hallucinate. So whenever it starts hallucinating, it is going to be a ping. So always, as Arpita said, read through the chat, whatever output that it's putting out, so that you can further refine it in a way, in a direction that you exactly want it to.
Yes, I think you guys will have fun reading our Claude chats and how intensive they are and what level of questioning we do and what level of detail we go into. So definitely for those who are interested, the mastery class is going to be something that's going to be amazing and very, very insightful. And even we might learn from you guys if you guys have been experimenting something in the design process. So yes, looking forward to seeing you guys at the master class.
Yes.
Great. I think that brings us to the end of today's session. And again, previous recordings are available online. You can go and check those out. And we do this session every Thursday for like different teams at FlytBase. So next Thursday, we'll meet with another hack or another team sharing how they are leveraging AI for their work. So thanks, Sivnesh. Thanks, Sanjok, Arpita. So thanks, everyone.
Yes, thank you guys. Please stay updated. We'll keep you updated on the WhatsApp group and LinkedIn. So yes, thank you guys.
Okay, bye-bye.